Greetings from Chicagoland. You're listening to Munira's Musings, where your host Munira will showcase new guests each week to share exciting details about the journey to their niches. As we like to say, the riches are in the niches. And on this show, we'll share ideas on how to break through our invisible boundaries so we can start taking steps towards our dreams and create the life that we most desire. If you're passionate about impacting lives, then this podcast will give you some great ideas and equip you with the tools to quickly grow your business. Okay, let's get started with today's show. Here's your host, Munira.
Greetings from Chicagoland. This is Munira and Krishna ji, who is our regular guest now because he's an expert on Cialdini's influence. Hi, Krishna ji. Welcome to Munira's Musings.
Thank you so much. It's always a delight to speak to you, Munira.
You are most welcome, as it is for me. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. This is another session where we are talking about Cialdini's book, The Influence. And we talked about this. We've been doing this for about 6 weeks now. And thank you so much for joining us. The first week, we talked about Cialdini and who he was, what he did. The second week, we talked about reciprocity. Third week, we talked about liking and how liking can make a difference in your business. Then we talked about unity. And the last week, we talked about authority. This week, we are going to talk about social proof. So what is social proof? So Krishnaji, help us here. Tell us what social proof is.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Very good. Thank you so much. And one of the important aspects is that we all want to reduce the uncertainty part of it. When we talked about the relationship is about three things. That is about reciprocity, liking, and the unity. But when you want to reduce the uncertainty, one principle which works very effectively is about this social proof. This only says that when you see that the others are doing the similar thing, you get influenced and say yes to that. That's as simple as that. I am sure, Munira, you would agree with me that many times when you wanted to buy something, it's basically because you would have seen some advertisement or you would have seen somebody else recommending. And that's how you get influenced to say yes on that. Would you agree with me?
We all look at Amazon reviews or Google reviews as to if this doctor is good or if this product is good and what is the rating. I know when we were setting up our clinic, one of the things that one of the investors, he would come in and say, okay, what do you need? You need a printer? Okay, I'm going to go to Amazon. And he would find something that had the most reviews, and this one has 4,000 reviews. It has to be good, and anything that had less than 10 or 100, he would not even look at that. Even though the product came highly recommended or it was cheaper, he didn't want that. He wants something that was really reviewed by people. So peer reviewed is something that's social proof, right? But it's not always Amazon. Social proof is not always Amazon. It's also other things. So how can we as business people take social proof and infuse that in our business?
Yeah, that's a good one. I would like to share one example or one study which was done, because whatever we speak in Cialdini Institute is based on the research and the science, and there is the ethical part of it which is there. I'm sure you know in your part of the world, McDonald's is a very, very famous restaurant which is there. And in McDonald's, they had a challenge of selling their desserts there. And they called the Cialdini Institute guys and say, can you help us on this? And that's where Steve Martin from UK did a lot of research to find out what is that which can make that will help them to increase the McDonald's sales there. And McDonald's is basically, if you go to that place, it's about the French fries, it's about the burger, it's about the cold drink. But it also has the other products like cookies and soft drinks and burgers and so many things which is there. And out of this dessert is something that they have done. So after doing a lot of research, they made one small change. This is what I say, one with small changes that deliver big results. They said at the end of the order, when the people place, they added one more sentence. It is like this: if you come and place a order for French fries or burgers or something, then we say, "Oh yeah, thank you so much for this order. Would you like to add dessert to it?" We have the most popular and the Oreo flavor something. And just because of that one statement, people made a lot of purchases on that. That's about 55% increase in the sales. You might say, why did this happen basically? It happened basically because you're saying that those who come similar to you like this, they prefer to order like this. That's a very ethical part of it to say. And that made people to buy. It's not only about the flavor, they also went into the tint of adding the toppings as well. They say, oh, Oreo is the favorite here or something. Then people also increased on the toppings, about 48% increase in sales. Imagine toppings has got a huge margin there. Now you might say, how do you apply this in your situation? That's the case study part of it, which is proven that if you add something like this, the best part is to, if you have a large range of products, there are companies which have got 2,000 or 50, 100 products or something. All that they have to do to the customer is that, so based on the profile of kind of customer that you are coming, most of the people prefer to use this particular product. Supposing if you are an insurance, you can always tell the people that those who are startups, they prefer to take this insurance. Those who are a family background business, they prefer this kind of the insurance product. And those who are a bigger company, then they would say these are the companies that they use this kind of product. For example, I was talking to recently about a real estate company, and we used to say we made a small change in that. They said those who have a family of three people, they always prefer a two-bedroom room to start with. And that made people to move on instead of going for four-bedroom or something. But you can always suggest to them. In fact, I was talking to some mattress company. I said they have a wide range of mattress. They have a mattress for young couples, seniors, or hospital mattress and all. We used to say those who get married, they prefer to use this particular mattress is what we use. And that made a lot of impact. That's the social proof that I wanted to say. Go ahead.
Right. So that's the thing, is like when you are selling a course or you are selling some kind, if you, most of my listeners are coaches, and they're in that space where they are being an influencer in somebody's life. So they're always trying to figure out, how do we sell more? And one way to do it is, in this course is more popular, why don't you, and more people have have gotten results by doing this course compared to, so you may have three different courses out there. One is maybe $99, one is $249, the other one is $999, and you always want to push them towards the middle one and say, you know what, this one has been the most popular of my courses, why don't you just come in there and then go from there, then we can figure it out. So that's one way to do it. But the activators of social proof is what people think, they feel, and then the others do, right? Now, here in my world, I think in my world, in the coaching space, there's a lot of people out there who are now creating their own podcasts because the influencers of the world have a podcast. So if they are doing it, why shouldn't I do it? And most of them are now joining TikTok. Everybody's on Instagram. So it's like, if one person is doing it, then it must be good. Let's just join the crowd and create momentum. I think that's what I'm saying. So that's what social proof is about, right? What else do you want to add?
I'm sure you know this study which was in America. I'm sure you would be able to say Goldman, who had one interesting exercise on the cart usage. Would you like to share
Right.
something on that?
Right. So
Yeah.
this was this started early on, right? This is social proof. It's at its inception. People have been using these ideas all the time, but Goldman Sachs has had a grocery store, and what he did was he had baskets. And what he did was people would start shopping, and then once it got heavy, they would just stop shopping, right? So then he started putting things in the grocery store in corners where people would see it, just effectively placing it in such a way. But that didn't work. So what happened was he found actors to come to the store and shop. They were just actors and they were shopping. And because they were shopping for certain items, people would look at them and say, oh, if he's getting it, must be good. I should get it too.
Yeah. That's
And,
interesting.
and
Yeah.
so that's how this whole movement on social proof began. Because I think Cialdini, when he was doing his studies and he was looking at all of this, one thing that he realized that he was buying stuff that he really didn't need, but he was just buying stuff, right? That was part of his whole study. And he looked into this, and this is his whole life's work. So he's looked into a lot of things. But I think one of the things in social proof is like if somebody comes and says, most of my clients or most of my, like you said, the mattress people, most of the married people buy this mattress. So then it must be good. Then this is the way you buy stuff. So I think Cialdini's thing was there has to be social proof. And like the podcast example, where everybody is now on a podcast, creating one, and there's so many podcasts out there. So which one do you listen to? So then do you have enough listeners too? So sometimes it's a catch-22, but you also want to use this pillar of influence in your business. Now, at the end, like we're talking to you about different pillars of influence, but I'll tell you one thing for the listeners. We will bring this all together for you. It's going to be weaved into. Right now, we are just creating a tapestry and we're creating the colors and we're using that. But we're going to create this into a design that's going to make it amazing for you. But right now, it's all about social proof. One of the things is that social proof is being used by Costco even. Costco is you don't know this, but one day you'll come to United States and we'll take you to Costco. But in Costco, especially if you go to on a weekend, they have food samplers everywhere, in every corner. They're sampling nuts, they're sampling chicken, they're sampling ice cream, they're sampling bread, cookies, everything. There's everything out there is up for sample. You could walk around and have a meal just by walking around and just be full, But they give you the food because they want you to sample. And the thing is, they only have so many out. Like they have maybe 16 out. And then people come in families and they'll take 5, then they have so many, the numbers dwindle. But the thing is, once you start that, the idea is that, this item is in door number 7, you can have it there, and they keep it purposefully half filled so that they can see that. And now that, we are doing this study, I'm noticing all of these trends in marketing because I go to Costco and I see, oh, the everything else is full. This one is only half full because they are making us all believe that this was a very highly used item and people are purchasing it. Thoughts?
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. I see when I go to an unknown place, I see a two restaurant. I say which one is busy or which one has got a queue. I tend to go there rather than I go to a restaurant where there is no crowd or something. That's how a social proof influences all of us, directly or indirectly there. And I also wanted to share something interesting. I keep sitting with my daughter to watch the movies. And the first thing which she says is, let me see what setting you score. And the moment she says it is less than five or something, she says, I will not watch this and waste my time. It could be even two, three, or something people there. But the point is that the reviews and the social proof has got so much impact, even for children at any age group, is what I wanted to say.
Right. I mean, it's now all about reviews, right? Like people, like in the clinic I work at, right? People, I get new patients every day. And when I ask them, how did you find us? The one thing they tell us is that you've got awesome reviews. And these are not reviews that were made by us. They were made by patients who were very happy. Our practitioners are very, very smart. They're very good, and they like people, so they spend time. It's not just go in, out, and you're done. It's they take time to understand the patient. At least the first visit is a longer one, and so people like
Yeah,
that because most people like that caring. And the new patients come because they say, you know what, we've had a good experience. They have the Google reviews, and they come back and they bring in those reviews, bring in new patients, new clients.
yeah. That's interesting. I want to say something because we have about 5, 6 minutes, but I wanted to share something very interesting when you say about review. There are people who put boldly saying that we have a 5-star review. Okay. And I only have a one word of caution to people that if you're getting a review, and of course, if you can get a 5-star review, it's very good. But if you put 5-star rating, people may or may not believe you completely, basically because there's something cooked up. Because there is nobody who is perfect, absolutely perfect, or something there in our kind of business and your kind of business. I think the best part is whatever review you have, you put, it's about 4.6 to 4.8 is a good review, if you say. And that's where, but if you put less than 4.2, if you have a review, you have a lot of scope for improvement for you. That's how an indication also can happen. But that's why one point that I wanted to share, yes, go ahead, Monia,
No,
you
no,
want
go
to say
ahead, go
something?
ahead, go ahead.
Yeah.
Finish your thought.
One point which I wanted to share to everybody is that I see a lot of websites which is on online or even at the clinic or professional services like doctor, dentist or a lawyer or anybody. If you have a testimonial, you put it up front rather than hiding behind somewhere is what the Dr. Cialdini also said. So in your landing page, if you are there on a small business or something, or even if you have a shop, I think it's good to put that rating upfront there. And that's one thing. And on the front page you can put, but also you always mention it is 4.7 out of 5 from 1,253 patients or 1,353 customers. If you had the number of people also and the rating, you are showing it as a genuine and ethical, and that's how you're going to influence people to buy more of your products and services. This is one tip which they can absolutely apply immediately. Even if you have a great testimonial from one person, put it up front. So it becomes a very, very promising, is what I want to say.
That's awesome. Thank you for that, right? We
Yeah.
usually, and one thing about social proof is also when you are with customer service of different companies and also ratings, it's mostly about people, right? Like I talk to a lot of insurance companies, and at the end they'll send me a survey and say, here, could you rate this person who gave you the service? And then when you say either it's based on a scale of 1 to 10 or 5 stars, so either it's a 1 star to 5 stars, and whichever you pick, it's going to ask you, why did you pick that number? Right? And with that, I think I always never pick 5 stars, or I never give anybody a 10, because I always, like you said, there's always room for improvement. So you always give them an 8.5 or a 9, even though they gave you exceptional service. But you always say there's always room for improvement. There's always room for improvement.
So yeah, I'm sure, Munira, before we end, I wanted to say something. Yeah, I'm sure you know about that NPS score, or what we used to call it as Net Promoter Score, which means that how likely you're going to refer this to another person. And they used to put a rating on a scale of 1 to 10. And if you put something on 9 or 10, then there is a very highly chances that you're going to recommend that. And that's a powerful social proof. But if you score below 5 or something, then the whole organization has to look at areas of improvement where you can get. The more you get, the better reviews. That's the better one to have. Yeah.
Right, right. So, social proof, as I learn this more, I see these principles being used in more by more companies. And it's just so amazing that, why is it that we haven't done this in our business? So I like the fact that just splatter the reviews on top. Let everybody see that right from the beginning. Cool.
Good.
I like that.
Wonderful.
So any last words on social?
So I always say, get a good review from people. Okay, do a good job and people ask for review and put it up front. That is going to help. And it has to be ethical. Don't cook up anything. That's my request to everybody. If it is ethical, if it is genuine, people will believe you and your business will prosper.
There you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we are completing our pillar of social proof and how you can infuse this into your software, into your business, and take care. Take care of not cooking up, like he said. Don't dissing. But every time you give service, always ask for a review, because you want people to rate you on the service you've provided. Now, it can be anything. You could write a book, you can have a podcast, you can have a coaching client, or you can have a storefront. Always ask for a review. And when that happens, when people give you a review, they're genuinely rating you on the service that you've provided. Until then, thank you so much, everybody. And until then, we'll be back with next week. We're going to talk about consistency. We're going to talk about consistency next week. And then it's going to be fantastic, because we need to learn more about being consistent and how this is going to work in your business. So, ladies and gentlemen, until we meet you again next week, have a good week and we will see you. Thank you, Krishnaji, for your insight.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Munira's Musings. We hope that you found today's conversation inspiring and useful, so that you can continue making progress towards mastering your own niche. Please tune in next week for another episode, and in the meantime, you can follow us on social media at Munira's Musings on Facebook, and leave us a review wherever you're listening to podcasts. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.